She stole my boyfriend. She spread lies about me. Everyone believed her. Until I set a trap. What I caught on recording changed everything. I never thought my sister would betray me. Sure, we fought over clothes and who got to use the bathroom first. But deep down, I believe she was my closest friend. We shared everything. Late night talks, secrets whispered in the dark, even dreams about the future. If anyone had told me she would become the person to tear my heart apart, I would have laughed in their face. But life has a cruel sense of irony. It all started when I introduced her to Adam. Adam wasn't just my boyfriend. He was the first person I ever truly fell in love with. He was kind, funny, and the way he looked at me made me feel like I was the only girl in the world. I remember the first time he held my hand. I thought my chest would explode from the rush of emotions. For months, everything felt perfect. Until my sister Chloe stepped into the picture. Chloe was always the prettier one. Or at least that's what people said. She had that kind of effortless beauty that made heads turn when she walked into a room. Growing up, I was used to being the smart one, while she was the beautiful one. It never bothered me much. Until Adam met her. The first time they spoke, I brushed it off. He greeted her politely, and she smiled back with that charming laugh that always drew attention. But as time went on, I started to notice the little things. The way her eyes lingered on him just a second too long. The way his jokes suddenly became twice as funny when she was around. And worst of all, the way she started dressing up every time she knew Adam would be over. I wanted to believe I was imagining it. After all, she was my sister. Sisters don't cross those lines. But one evening, my doubts grew stronger. We were all watching a movie together. Me, Adam, and Chloe. I leaned against Adam's shoulder, feeling safe until I noticed Chloe's gaze. She wasn't watching the movie. She was watching him. And when he laughed, she laughed too. Almost like they shared a secret I wasn't part of. I told myself not to overthink it. Maybe I was just insecure. Maybe I was jealous because Chloe always got attention wherever she went. But deep down, a small voice whispered, "Something isn't right." The turning point came at my birthday party. Adam had planned a small surprise for me. Balloons, cake, the works. I was touched, almost in tears, until I noticed Chloe. She had dressed in a tight red dress, far more glamorous than necessary for a family gathering. Throughout the evening, she stayed close to Adam, laughing at everything he said, brushing his arm accidentally when she passed by. I tried to ignore it, but then I caught something that broke me. When I went to grab drinks from the kitchen, I returned quietly, and there they were, standing close, whispering. Chloe's hand rested on his arm, her lips dangerously close to his ear. My heart stopped. Adam pulled back when he noticed me, but the guilt in his eyes said everything. I wanted to scream. I wanted to confront them both, but fear froze me. Fear of losing Adam. Fear of hearing the truth. That night, I cried myself to sleep. Days passed, and Adam grew distant. His texts became shorter, his calls less frequent. When we met, he seemed distracted, his eyes wandering, his smile forced. And Chloe, she was suddenly too busy for our sisterly talks. She spent hours locked in her room, giggling on the phone, refusing to tell me who she was speaking to. I knew. I just didn't want to admit it. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I confronted Adam. "Do you still love me?" I asked, my voice trembling. He hesitated. That hesitation shattered me. "It's not that simple," he said. My heart sank. What's not simple about it? Either you do or you don't. He avoided my gaze, running a hand through his hair. I care about you, but I feel something for Chloe. I didn't mean for it to happen, but I didn't let him finish. My tears blinded me as I stormed out, my world crashing down. My sister, my own blood. When I confronted Chloe, she didn't even look guilty. Instead, she smirked. "You were never good enough for him," she said coldly. "You knew that. Deep down, you always knew." Her words cut deeper than any knife. I stared at her, unable to believe this was the same sister I once trusted with my life. "You're my sister," I whispered. "How could you do this to me?" She rolled her eyes. "Don't be so dramatic. Adam made his choice. Don't blame me because he realized he wanted more than you. That night, I locked myself in my room and broke down completely. It wasn't just losing Adam, it was losing Chloe. The bond we once shared was shattered into a million pieces. I felt betrayed, worthless, invisible. But as much as I wanted to cut them both out of my life, things weren't that simple. Because the real nightmare was just beginning. Adam and Chloe's betrayal was painful enough. But what Chloe did next, something far darker and more twisted, would make me wish the only thing she'd stolen was my boyfriend. When Chloe stole Adam from me, I thought that was the worst betrayal a sister could commit. I was wrong. Because what came after wasn't just about love or jealousy. It was about lies, manipulation, and a twisted plan to destroy me completely. At first, I tried to keep my distance. I avoided Chloe, avoided Adam, and buried myself in schoolwork. But it was impossible. They flaunted their relationship everywhere. Chloe paraded Adam around like a trophy, posting photos online, clinging to him in public, whispering into his ear whenever I was nearby, just to make sure I saw. And Adam? He went along with it, even when guilt flickered in his eyes. It was like they both wanted me to break. But the real nightmare started at home. One night, my parents called me into the living room. Their faces were tense, worried. "Sweetheart," Mom began, "we need to talk. Chloe told us something very serious." My stomach sank. "What do you mean?" Dad frowned. "She says, you've been jealous of her relationship with Adam, that you've been making things up, spreading lies, and even trying to come between them." I froze. "What? That's not true. She's the one who—" But Chloe cut me off, appearing suddenly from the hallway, fake tears glistening in her eyes. "She's obsessed with Adam, Mom. She keeps texting him, begging him to come back. She even told me she'd do anything to break us up." My jaw dropped. "That's a lie," I screamed. "She's twisting everything." But my parents looked uncertain. They saw Chloe's crocodile tears and my desperation, and to them, it probably looked like guilt. That night, I lay in bed shaking with rage. She wasn't content with stealing Adam. She wanted to make me the villain. The next few weeks were hell. Chloe spread rumors about me at school. Suddenly, people whispered behind my back, pointing fingers. Some said I was unstable. Others claimed I had threatened her. A few even believed I had stalked Adam after the breakup. I became an outcast in my own life. And Chloe? She smiled sweetly, playing the victim, while Adam stood by her side like her knight in shining armor. I wanted to fight back, to expose her. But every time I tried, she was one step ahead. Screenshots of messages taken out of context. Twisted stories that made me look like the jealous ex. Even Adam believed her lies. One evening, I snapped. I barged into Chloe's room, slamming the door behind me. "Why are you doing this to me? Isn't stealing Adam enough?" She looked up from her phone, smirking. "Oh, come on. Don't act like you didn't see this coming. You've always been second best, and deep down you knew I'd win. I just made it official." "You're my sister," I cried. "We're supposed to protect each other, not destroy each other." Her eyes went cold. "You stopped being my sister the moment you thought you could keep something from me. Adam was never yours to begin with. He was just waiting for someone better." Her words shattered me all over again. But I refused to let her win. I started gathering proof. Screenshots, messages, even witnesses who had seen Chloe flirting with Adam before he broke up with me. I was determined to clear my name. But before I could, Chloe escalated again. She accused me of stealing money from her purse. One morning, Mom stormed into my room holding a handful of cash. "Chloe says you took this from her wallet, is that true?" I gasped. "What? No, I would never." But Chloe appeared in the doorway, arms crossed, her expression smug. I left it on my desk. She was the only one in the house. Who else could it be? It didn't matter that I swore I was innocent. It didn't matter that I begged them to believe me. My parents gave me disappointed looks, shaking their heads. Chloe had won again. I felt trapped, cornered in my own home. Everywhere I turned, her lies poisoned the air. And Adam, he became colder, more distant. It was as if the girl he once loved no longer existed. But then, something happened. One night, I overheard Chloe on the phone. She didn't know I was standing outside her door, listening. "Don't worry, babe," she whispered. "She'll crack soon. Once she's out of the way, we won't have to deal with her anymore." My blood ran cold. Out of the way? What did she mean? I pressed my ear closer, heart pounding. "Yeah," she continued, laughing softly. "She's too emotional. Everyone already thinks she's unstable. One little push and she'll ruin her own life. Then Adam and I can finally be happy without her hanging around." Tears welled in my eyes as I realized the truth. Chloe didn't just want Adam, she wanted to erase me. The next day, I tried to tell Adam. I begged him to listen, to see Chloe for who she really was. But he shook his head. "You're just jealous. Chloe told me you'd say something like this. Why can't you just let us be happy?" That was the final straw. I realized no one was going to save me. Not Adam, not my parents, not anyone. If I wanted to survive Chloe's twisted game, I had to expose her myself. So I set a trap. I knew Chloe couldn't resist bragging. I left my phone recording in my room and lured her into an argument. Sure enough, she let her mask slip. "You'll never win," she hissed. "I've already turned everyone against you. Mom, Dad, Adam, they all believe me. You're nothing but a jealous, pathetic loser." And then the golden words. I lied about everything. The rumors, the money, even Adam choosing me. It was all me. And you're too weak to stop it. When she left, I replayed the recording, my hands shaking. Proof. Finally, proof. That night, I showed it to my parents. At first, they were skeptical, but as Chloe's voice filled the room, their expressions shifted from confusion to horror. When the recording ended, silence hung in the air. Chloe froze in the doorway, pale and trembling. "Is this true?" Mom whispered. Chloe stammered, searching for words, but it was too late. The truth was out. For the first time, I saw fear in her eyes. Adam dumped her the next day. My parents grounded her for months, and I finally felt free. But freedom didn't erase the scars. Chloe's betrayal left me broken in ways I didn't know I could be. I lost the boy I loved, the sister I trusted, and the innocence I once had. And yet, as painful as it was, I learned something important. Family isn't always about blood. Sometimes the people closest to you can hurt you the most. And sometimes the only way to survive is to stand up, even when no one believes you. Because in the end, the truth has a way of coming out. And Chloe? She taught me the darkest lesson of all. That sometimes the worst enemy you'll ever face is the one who shares your own blood.